Hi everyone, I'm Zhutian Chen, currently a postdoc at Harvard University. Today I will talk about CrossData, leveraging text data connections for offering data documents. This work was done when I was a postdoc at UC San Diego with Dr. Haijun, who was my awesome advisor. Alright, let's get started. So, data documents employ text tables and visualizations to report findings from data analysis and present data-rich narratives. It plays a central role in recording, presenting, and disseminating data, and has become an indispensable component of almost every domain that involves data, such as finance, business, public health, and education. Although there are many programs that one can use to analyze data and write data documents, the process of writing data documents requires numerous, tedious, repetitive, and error-prone operations. Imagine you are writing a data document. You probably will need to switch back and forth between writing and data processing tools. For example, you will have to calculate values in data processing tools such as Excel, and then copy the values back to the writing tool. And after that, you must manually ensure consistency between the text and the data, and frequently updating tables and charts to synchronize them with the text. Instead of tackling these issues separately, our research attributes them to a lack of explicit connection between text and data. Because current commercial tools do not establish and maintain text-data connections, users are required to maintain these connections in their mind and must resort to complex workflows to accomplish their goals. To solve this problem, we developed CrossData, a software prototype that treats text data connection as persistent, interactive, and first-class objects. By automatically identifying, establishing, and leveraging text data connections, CrossData provides opportunities for richer interactions while offering data documents. To explain how CrossData facilitates data documents writing, we are going to follow Chen, a hypothetical World Health Organization staff member who needs to write a short report about the latest data on the global COVID situation. After exploring the newest weekly data in Excel, Chen created a table and a stack bar chart, which summarize the new cases and trends reported by different regions. She plans to report some insights based on the table and the chart. Chen first insert the table into the document and then start to report the new cases in Europe. While she is typing, CrossData automatically retrieves and suggests data attributes such as new cases and new deaths for her. Meanwhile, CrossData highlights the table to help her identify which data the suggestion connects to. Chen presses the Tab key to accept the suggestions of new cases. CrossData adds the suggestion to the document and creates a connection between the phrase new cases and the underlying data. Chen continues typing. Based on Chen's writing, CrossData automatically retrieves the number of cases reported from Europe for her. Here, CrossData highlights the phrases in the sentence with different colors, since they are connected to the underlying data differently. The first two phrases, which are independent phrases, connect to the data independently. The last phrase connects to the data with the constraint of the first two phrases and is thus a dependent phrase. Next, Chen wants to report the total number of new cases this week. When she types, the total number of new cases reported this week is CrossData automatically detects operators such as total and week and highlights them in blue. Using data in the table, CrossData interprets the sentence and calculates the total number across all regions for her. CrossData also acts a new role to help Chen synchronize the table with the text. This saves Chen from switching between applications to refine the table. Chen thinks this new role is useful and accepts it. Chen then begins to write about the ratio of new cases in Europe to the total number of new cases worldwide. While the information is not yet detailed enough for CrossData to calculate a value, Chen can insert a ratio placeholder into the sentence. As Chen completes the sentence and more detail about her intention is available, CrossData automatically fills the placeholder with the actual value. Simultaneously, CrossData computes the ratio for each data item in the table and adds a new column to the table, synchronizing the table with text. Next, Chen begins writing about the region in the world with the highest number of new cases. CrossData retrieves the region from the data for her and sorts the table to make it easier to read. Based on the returned data, Jane realized that Southeast Asia reported the highest number of new cases this week, so he changed her mind and wants to report on Southeast Asia first, instead of Europe. To do this, she clicks on each instance of Europe in the sentence. CrossData displays a drop-down list that contains other regions in the dataset. Jane then selects Southeast Asia. CrossData updates the number of new cases as well as the ratio for her to maintain data consistency. At this moment, Jane receives an email notifying her that the number of new cases in Southeast Asia was overestimated by 500,000. To incorporate this change to her document, Jane changes the new cases of the Southeast Asia region. CrossData then updates all related sentences in her document accordingly, such as the number of new cases, the ratio, and the region that reports the highest number of new cases. Because CrossData did this for her automatically, June does not need to manually go through her documents to change the text. Finally, Jim inserts a stacked bar chart of all regions from Excel into her document to begin reporting on the weekly trends in new cases. As she describes new cases from Southeast Asia, CrossData automatically highlights the corresponding part in the bar chart, aggregates the data from daily to weekly, and highlights the corresponding range in the chart. Jim can directly manipulate the range to select the desired timeframe, and CrossData will update the connected text accordingly. Jim then continues to report the COVID-19 situation in other regions by reusing the existing text. In summary, by leveraging the text data connections, CrossData provides novel interactions that free users from tedious, repetitive, and error-prone operations while writing data documents. To evaluate CrossData, we conduct a technical evaluation and an expert user study. In the technical evaluation, we collect 206 sentences from different data documents, evaluate the accuracy of text data connections detected by CrossData, and got a performance of 88% accuracy. We also analyze and discuss the failure cases which can be improved in the future. In the expert evaluation, we invite 8 experts and ask them to finish several creation tasks using CrossData. The feedback suggests that the interaction enabled by CrossData have very good utility and can significantly improve their current workflow. We also discuss our observation and implication from the user study for applying CrossData in real-world usage scenarios. Please check our paper for the details. In summary, in this work, we present CrossData that automatically identifies, detects, and maintains text data connections to facilitate data documents offering. Thanks for listening.